Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk about the new issue of Knitting magazine. That's what the cover looks like. There's a really nice top on the cover. This is issue 263. Now I have taken my glasses off because the ring light was really reflecting in my glasses. It's really dull today. It's raining, it's dull, it's dark. So I've had to put my ring light on. But it's just there next to my phone and it's quite a low one and it was just really reflecting off my glasses. So I've taken my glasses off, which means that I'm struggling to read. So I hope this goes okay. If not, I have to put them on again. But today I'm going to talk about what's in issue 263 of Knitting magazine. Mainly what my design in this issue is, which is this lovely poncho. So we'll talk a bit about that, a bit about the yarn, and a bit of what else was in this issue of the magazine. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, my name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops online and in person, and I sell yarn through our website YarnAddict.co.uk. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. So let's talk about this design first, and then we'll talk a bit about what else is in this issue. So this is a poncho with an all-over cable pattern. I'll try and get a close-up of the cable pattern in a minute. I'm just checking which yarn I knitted it in. It's Rowan Moordale, which is 70% wool, 30% alpaca. And I must admit, it is a slightly rustic feeling wool. Obviously, the alpaca does add a little bit of softness to it, but I would say it's not as super soft as some alpaca yarns are, but it does have that slightly bit of fussiness that alpaca yarns give you. It's knitted sideways, so it starts here. You cast on here, and then you knit just a rectangle, and then you fold it in half, and you sew it together here, and then you just leave a hole that's big enough for your head to go through it. So you can choose how long to make it. You can easily just adjust the length this way, sideways, and the length this way. So it's fairly easy to customize it. So if you are short, you want it slightly longer, so it comes right down to your hands, or if you're taller, you can just cast on more stitches to make it wider. The cable pattern, which I think you can probably see in the camera, has got a kind of hourglass cable and also a rope cable. So it's got a rope cable, hourglass, rope cable, and the cables go in opposite directions, so they are kind of mirrored. And it repeats that pattern all the way across. All the cables are fairly easy to do. They're just 4-stitch cables, I think. Yes, 4-stitch cables. Although 2 of them are combined to make like an 8-stitch looking cable, but it's 2 4-stitch cables. So if you want to use this pattern as an opportunity to try working cables without a cable needle, which once you've done it a few times isn't too difficult, especially on smaller cables like this. I had a video out 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday, and I will link it below, where I showed you how to do cables without a cable needle. So if you fancy trying that, this is a really good pattern to try that on. So as I said, it's just knitted a rectangle. So if you wanted to longer this way, you cast on more stitches. It comes in 3 sizes. This is the smallest size, but you can combine the number of stitches cast on to get the body length with this length. So you can cast on for the larger size this way and then knit it shorter or longer, or you can cast on for the smallest size this way and knit it shorter and longer. So there's a lot of flexibility there, but it does give you 3 sizes in the pattern. I will show you some of the pictures in here. So these are the pictures on the pattern page. So I need to be a bit careful so I don't show you the actual pattern. And then I'll also show you the main picture. Here's the main picture. I will also put a picture up on the screen, which is probably a little bit easier to see. It's a really lovely warm accessory. Perfect for this time of year. It's kind of transitional piece that you can just throw over your clothes if it's a little bit chilly, especially if you're on your way to work or taking the kids to school or shopping or anything, and you need something to throw over your clothes in the morning, but it might get a bit warmer during the day and you don't want to wear a coat, or in the evening, also in the winter, I quite often wear ponchos like this at home when I'm working if it gets a bit chilly in the house. So it's a really nice accessory that is really versatile. So let's just show you some of the other things that are in this issue. So I think I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this or I won't be able to see. So I do apologize for the ring light. So there are some news at the front. Laughing Hands launches own label yarn. So that's interesting. Laughing Hands is a British yarn brand. And then there are some other news. There's a feature on the Make Joy, which is an small yarn show, yarn festival in London, in Woolwich Works, so East London. It looks really good. Somebody who was on my workshop last week actually was saying that she was planning to go. And I think she'd been before and she said it was really, really good. It's a bit far for me to go to London, and November is quite a busy time anyway, so I don't think I'll be able to make it. And then it is, there's a small feature here on Isolde Teague here. 2 decades of Isolde. She does amazing patterns. And then there is the I Love Knitting with loads of stuff that they've highlighted. There's a feature on Pearls Across the Pond. It's called Snapshots from the US. And this month is about what do American knitters think about British yarns. So Vicky Howe, who's fairly well known, I think, American crafter journalist maybe. She's talking about various British yarns. So she's talking about Rowan, Fibre Company, West Yorkshire Spinners, Wool and the Gang, and Jameson's and Smiths of Shetland. I didn't know Wool and the Gang was British. I thought it was an American company. And then there's a Pearls in the Pub feature article. I haven't read this one yet. I might take this away with me this weekend because I'm going away. You've seen this the week after I film it, but I'm going away teaching this weekend. So I might take this with me to read when I'm like having a dinner and breakfast and things. So it's about the Mitten Knitter Natter Shropshire group that meets in the perfect setting of a British pub. I went to a knitting group for a short time that met in a local pub. It was in the evening, and at the time, evenings didn't really suit me. I preferred a daytime knitting club, but now I love an evening knitting group because the daytime one, I feel guilty for going because I should be working. Then there's a big feature on British wool, which is very interesting. And then From Farm to Yarn feature where they highlight various yarns and where in the country they come from. They've marked it on a map. So there's one in Cornwall, 23. Let's see which one that is. The Raw Wool Company, which I have heard about, but I haven't tried any of their yarns. Then there's book reviews and yarn reviews. And then there's a feature of what's in the next issue. And then the first pattern is that one, very nice, by Brian Smith. I was thinking it was Brian something, but I can remember his surname. Those 2 patterns really nice. One is Emma Vining, and the Fair Old Jump Over is from Monica Russell. I really like that. It's very autumnal. And then there's a men's design, some hand warmers, no, mittens I think they are, hat, socks, waistcoat, very autumnal. And some more autumnal pieces and quite interesting pieces, a lot of combining different colours and things. All very warm and cosy and snuggly. And then there's my pattern, and on the opposite page, a very nice jumper by Jacinta Bowie. Very interesting yoke on that jumper, quite cropped. Then there are some other designs. And then they do this feature, which I really like, where they take 3 designs, show it in 3 different colours, and they kind of suggest some accessories to go with it. So mine was one of them in the middle there. And then they suggest various accessories that you might want to style with it, which I quite like. And then there are some accessories. I'm not going to show you everything in here, but there are some small accessories, quick, easy things. And then there's an article about washing your knits, which I think is really good. It's part of a series of 8 set of knitting techniques. And I do think washing your knits is something that a lot of knitters are a bit frightened of. I have a friend who, when I've knitted a few things for her, and I've said to her, this has to be hand washed, but she seems to think that because she's got a really fancy, super duper expensive washing machine, that even though I say this must be hand washed, she can wash it on the hand wash cycle. And I made her I think it was like a big cabled infinity scarf in a very luxurious yarn from Fiber Spades. I can't remember what it was called, but it was definitely hand wash only, and I made this quite clear, and I think just spilled coffee or something on it. So she put it on the washing machine and felted the whole thing. I didn't knit or anything for quite a while after that. So this is what's in the next issue. Big Cozy Shawl is the one that I've highlighted. I think I've got something in the next issue, but I'm not 100% sure. And on the back page, the column at the back is Notes from the Studio, Best of British, Why Choose Wool and Why British Wool, Erica Knight and Arabella Harris of Nightcraft Studio explore the options. So that is what is in this issue of Knitting Magazine. This is my pattern in this issue. Oh, you can really see the cables quite well now. Lights obviously changed a bit, I think. Knitted sideways, lots of options for customizing it. And also, if you wanted it as just a big throw or a shawl, you don't have to do this seam. You can just knit a rectangle and have it as a big shawl, or you can make it a bit wider and have it just a throw. It's quite flexible. It's basically just a rectangle, so you can do whatever you want with it and turn it into other things if you prefer. So that is issue 263 of Knitting Magazine. It's in the shops in the UK now. It's been in the shops for a couple of weeks, nearly 2 weeks by the time this video comes out. The subscriber copies were a little bit delayed this month, so that's why I haven't been able to film this video earlier. So if you want to get it in the shops in the UK, do go and grab it now before it, while you still got the chance. Otherwise, you can also order it online. If you just Google Knitting Magazine, I'm sure you'll find it. It's probably available as a digital version as well, but I'm not quite sure where from. But do a bit of Googling or reach out to them on social media and you might be able to find it. Okay, that's my sample in this issue. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.